The Cold Power, the terrifying rise of Vladimir Putin. How a quiet spy became one of the world's most feared and powerful men. If you know the enemy and know yourself, you need not fear the result of 100 battles. Sun Tzu. Chapter 1: The Boy from the Shadows. Leningrad, USSR. 1952. A scrawny boy named Vladimir Vladimirovich Putin was born into post-war poverty. His family lived in a communal apartment, barely surviving after World War II left the city in ruins. Putin wasn't the loudest, he wasn't the strongest, but he was observant, calculating, quiet. He loved martial arts, not just for discipline, but for control. As a teenager, he became obsessed with spying. Not superheroes, not movie stars, spies, KGB agents. He would visit their local office and ask, "How do I join?" He was told, "Study, obey, disappear." And he did exactly that. The KGB ghost. By the 1980s, Putin had become a full-blown KGB officer, stationed in East Germany under deep cover. Fluent in German, trained in surveillance, counterintelligence, and manipulation, he was the man behind the curtain. When the Berlin Wall fell in 1989, angry crowds stormed KGB offices. Most officers panicked, but not Putin. He stood at the gates alone with a pistol and famously said, "I am authorized to use force." They backed off. But something broke inside him that day. He saw the collapse of Soviet power firsthand. He vowed to never let Russia be humiliated again. The master of power plays. Back in Russia, as the USSR disintegrated, Putin shifted careers, quickly and smartly. In just a few years, he climbed from a local advisor in St. Petersburg, to the head of the FSB, the KGB's successor, and then to Prime Minister. And in 1999, when President Boris Yeltsin suddenly resigned, Vladimir Putin was named acting president. Almost no one knew who he was. But he knew exactly what to do. In his first televised speech, he said, "I promise to protect democracy. I promise to restore order." Months later, he launched a brutal war in Chechnya, using bombings and propaganda to cement power. The media called him strong, decisive, even savior-like. In 2000, he won the presidency. And never really let it go. The puppeteer of Russia. What followed were 2 decades of tight control, strategic manipulation, and the slow rebuilding of Russian influence. He crushed opposition, silenced media. Critics like Anna Politkovskaya and Alexei Navalny were either murdered, poisoned, or imprisoned. He rewrote laws to extend his power, changed constitutions, installed puppets and replaced them when they got too independent. He brought oligarchs under control, support me or disappear. He used energy like a weapon. Natural gas, power, oil, leverage. And behind the scenes? Cyberattacks, election meddling, hybrid warfare, propaganda. While the West played politics, Putin played chess. War, sanctions and the strongman image. Putin invades Ukraine, triggering the largest war in Europe since World War II. But this wasn't just a military move, it was a move to rewrite history, to reclaim what he sees as old Russia. The world reacted with shock. Sanctions, condemnation, military aid to Ukraine. But inside Russia, Putin tightened his grip even more, crushing protests, banning social platforms, calling the war a special military operation. And even now, as the economy shakes and global pressure builds, he walks the world stage like a cold strategist, measured, ruthless, and calculating. Fear, loyalty, and legacy. Vladimir Putin has outlasted 5 US presidents. He's rebuilt Russia's military, reasserted its global influence, and become a symbol of raw power and fear. But beneath the surface lies a dark reality. A country locked in censorship. A people living in propaganda. An aging leader obsessed with control. Will history remember him as a patriot or a tyrant? A protector or a dictator? One thing is certain. Putin didn't just rise to power, he engineered it, reinforced it, and now holds it with an iron grip. Closing thought. In a world of democracy, he became a ruler. In a system of chaos, he became the architect. And in the shadows of history, he remains one of the most terrifyingly effective leaders of the modern age.